There's an analogy out there. This isn't the story part, this is the analogy part. Where, you know, you got the car, you got the steering wheel, and let's hope you're the driver, okay? Because you're not always the driver, right? But you got the steering wheel. Then you got a battery, and that battery better be working, right? It's like $500 or $400 or $500, right? The battery of the car. Then you got this like $4 wire, right? And the battery's dead, the car doesn't start. But if the battery's perfectly new in working condition, if that $4 wire isn't connected properly, car doesn't start, right? Okay, now you got to determine which one are you. Are you the driver, the battery, or the wire? That's for another day. But all that, you're dead in the water. Now, a lot of times you go into these interviews, and I actually don't think you're dead in the water because I taught you a lot about interviewing, and I gave you the engine and how to answer the questions and how to answer this and how to answer that and how to ask this and how to ask that. Right? I've given you kind of the bread and butter. So I was thinking about how do I tell them what this interviewing tip is so that they remember it and never forget it. And I want to talk to you about my dryer. So back in November, the dryer wasn't, the clothes weren't drying. So there was no heat. So I called the dryer guys. The guy comes over. He says, yeah, you got these two little pieces here. These are pretty important. I need to replace them. So no problem. How much that can cost me? $190. Okay, I got the service call, I got the parts, I got the labor. Okay, no problem, you put them in. Okay, January rolls around, January 8th. There's a smell in my laundry room like I blew the motor in the dryer. Dead, right? Dead smell. My wife's looking at me. She's like, you're nuts. Buy a new one of these things. Come on, these are from 2009. They were here with the house before we moved in. I'm like, no. Call the guys. Come back, because we're still within the 90 days so that they come out. It's a free service call to check what's wrong. Tell the guy, he says, motor's blown. This thing's dead. Good news. Got one on the truck. I'll put it in. No problem. How much is that? Well, you don't have to pay for the service call. $180. Fine. You put that thing in. All right. Now, February 8th rolls around. It's last week. I was probably doing a workshop with you guys. And I noticed I take stuff out of the laundry and like, you know, I'm wearing a lot of sweatpants and pajama bottoms these days because of the COVID thing. And like the waistband with the elastic is like kind of wet. I'm like, the dryer works, it's humming. It's wet. A couple days later, another load, same kind of thing. I said, hey, I got to get the laundry guys back here. But I hear this clicking in the laundry. Something's, my wife's like, you're crazy. Go out and buy a new one. It's like, honey, you want me to spend $1,000 on this? I'm like, listen, the motor works, right? These solenoid, whatever the hell else these guys replaced, that works. This sounds to me like something's not communicating between this thing and that thing or whatever. I mean, look, the thing's only got 20 parts, right? Most of it's a case, then there's a drum, there's a couple knobs, a timer, some cords, things, whatever, right? How many pieces can this be? So I tell you what, bet you to Valentine's dinner, whatever's wrong, it's some little part, little wire, little sensor, little whatever, and it's creating a problem with communication between what has to happen and lighten this up and this and that, and the clothes don't dry. All right, you're nuts. But call the guy out. Guy comes back. He's, hey, sir, comes over. He's got this little box. It's plastic. Yeah. He says, well, see this little thing? It's corroded here, and so it's trying to send a signal to light, to light the gas or whatever, so to throw the heat. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He says, that's why sometimes the clothes dry and sometimes they don't. I told my wife, I said, I bet that part cost less than $50. Bet you the Valentine's dinner. I said, how much does that part cost? Guy says, $41. I said, but I got a $10 coupon. He says, $31. Right? Okay, this is your wire. This is what you're not doing, and you're miscommunicating in the interview. You are leaving doubt at the end. Okay, I want you to remember my silly laundry story, and Andy's got a waistband that's still wet on his sweatpants bottom because you went through. I already taught you. I gave you the engine. I gave you the motor. I gave you all the other stuff. I told you how to answer the questions, but what happened? You miscommunicated, or they miscommunicated. And at the end of the interview, you left them with doubt, or you didn't know you miscommunicated. You didn't know the wire wasn't touching. You didn't know the piece was corroded because you didn't ask them, do you have any reservations about hiring me? And if you don't know this trick, on page 79 in the closing time chapter, I go through in nauseating detail how to do this. But basically, you want to give them a chance to express to you that you guys miscommunicated, the wires were crossed. And those reservations come in one of three forms. They asked you something, you told them something, and they didn't interpret it the way you wanted them to. You miscommunicated. Okay? If that happens, you can clean it up. Or you didn't even have a chance to talk to each other about it. They didn't ask you a question and you didn't know to answer it. In which case now you know it and you can clarify that, right? Communicate. Or they have a reservation, it is a reservation, and at least now you can try to dampen it with, I might not have that skill, but I have this one over here, right? Kind of thing. Do not walk out unless all the wires are touching. You got heat in the dryer, okay? Remember this, okay? Do you have any reservations about hiring me? And I'm not talking about like you need to do a 15-minute phone screen with the HR person and then you ask her this. No, you gotta work your way into the process, but don't leave doubt. Clean it up.